Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. So the connections between Harry and Joe Biden, these are known. This is Harry Biden and his wife at a ball game. Also, during the inauguration, there was a life-size of Joe Biden. There was a life-size picture of Harry that kept flashing across the screen. People were standing in front of it and talking about it, talking in front of it. And you know, Harry's image in a large picture of Harry was back there. And so now there is word, and I don't know if it's speculation or it's real because there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of buzz that Kamala Harris is going to join Harry and Meghan on their Archewell podcast. Well, let's take a look at this, okay? Because the worst thing, the absolutely prohibited thing that Harry can do as a royal is get involved in partisan politics, which that seems to be what Meghan really, really wants, is to get into partisan politics. Is that because she's trying to destroy him? Maybe. She may. A lot of people think she is a narcissist. She may be a malignant narcissist. If she's a malignant narcissist, she would be unconsciously or even consciously and intentionally trying to destroy him because he's close to her. And the more she destroys him, the more she feels that she's winning. And it's all about winning. So let's take a look at Kamala Harris joining the Archewell podcast. Is this true? Is this happening? What's really going on? Let's see what the cards want to tell us about this. Very public, reacting, and committed. 7. 2 clubs. So butterfly can be flirtation and just putting it out there publicly, which kind of feels like what they're doing. They're just kind of putting it out there. Oh, we'd really love to have Kamala on the podcast. This is somebody that we could really, we would love to have Kamala. Kamala would just be great. And then everybody's, so Kamala, are you going on the Archewell podcast? No, nobody's contacted me. And then then Meghan and Harry's people start contacting her, and she shows up on the podcast. So they're definitely putting it out there publicly. It's not clear that it's really happening. Butterfly is very light and flirtatious. King, ruler, snake, complicated, underlying, scheming, lying in the path. So this could really be just putting it out there. Here in the outcome, blocked, no way, Jose, officially no, an official no response. Water into wine and player, making a play and trying to turn the situation around. This really looks to me like it's ultimately not going to happen, that when they get the word back from the White House, the answer is going to be no. I mean, why wouldn't Kamala just go on the Joe Rogan podcast? The most popular podcast in the world. If she's going to go on a podcast, why won't she go on Jimmy Kimmel or one of these, the late night, what's the other guy? I really like him and I can't remember his name right now. But why not go on the top late night? He took over for the top guy. Anyway, why not go on that? You can't go on like some B-list program. Now they have the name, Meghan and Harry have the name because of Harry. He's a prince. I think they're just putting it out there. I think they're just putting it out there and shaking the bushes and trying to make it happen. Let's look at Meghan and Harry in political roles. We'll put Meghan here, Harry's here, Meghan here, Harry here. How bad do they want to get into politics? Because Meghan may very much want to get into politics, and Harry may be completely ambivalent or not want to get into politics. I mean, is it their goal to get into politics? Because this ruins Harry. He has to give up his prince title. He's just throwing mud at the monarchy and creating all kinds of problems for the Queen and Charles and William by doing this. These are the things he's not allowed to do. It's like God said, eat of any tree in the garden, but don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So what did they do? Eve went and she was talking to this snake guy and ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and then gave Adam some. That's the one thing you're told not to do. The one thing you're told not to do is do partisan political things, especially in someone else's country. You're not American, dude. All right, so what do they want? Meghan. Harry. No, my. No, dear. Does Harry want to get into all this political stuff? Worst possible thing that could happen? No. It's because of the relationship. 8 and 10, 15, 18, 5 diamonds on an ongoing basis. Jacob's ladder. Harry does not want to get into political stuff. He's not dumb. He realizes that this is absolutely terrible for him, and he'll do it because of his relationship with Meghan. Meghan, Mother Earth, four-leaf clover, opportunity, working those opportunities very aggressively. 7 and 12, 19, 5 clubs, crossroads. This is the situation. She is just flogging the situation, flogging that situation, just flogging the environment and just trying to work things out of the bushes. And that's what she does. I think she's open to anything. She'll take on any role, and if she feels that politics is going to work for her, then she'll get into politics. And if it's not going to work for her, she'll just get into something else. Harry does not want to get into politics, but he worked for the Queen. He's a prince. He's the son of the Queen. And so his status came from the kingdom. Getting in the kings and queens over here are the president and vice president of the United States. So that's why it just looks, it's so obvious. But also doing this makes me feel like Harry and Meghan were kicked out, that they didn't want to go because they're just recreating what they were doing in England. They're completely recreating a mirror image in America. They're not doing anything new. So Harry doesn't want to do it. Meghan is just working any and every opportunity in her environment. Oh, 3 black birds and upside down, reversed. Negative actions and selfishness, 9. Masked as 3 hearts. Okay, so I brought this up earlier, and I guess that was intuition. But if Meghan is a malignant narcissist, she is actually trying to hurt Harry. She's specifically doing things to discredit him and harm him and destroy him. That's what these cards are saying. That either unconsciously or consciously, Meghan is trying to destroy Harry. Devil, world, and lovers. Malicious actions. The one closest is destroying him in the world. 19, 21, 6 hearts. So these cards up here can be saying that Meghan is either intentionally or unconsciously trying to destroy Harry by pushing him into politics. Okay, another thing that has come up, and I was looking for news articles on this. Harry and Meghan might be called upon to be Joe Biden and Kamala's youth ambassadors. This is a good fit. Okay, it's not partisan politics. They are working for Biden. Okay, and that would be fine. That would not be specifically political. Vote for Joe Biden, but it would be helping Joe Biden. Is this true? I couldn't find anything on it. Is it true that they're going to be tapped as Biden's youth ambassadors, because that's something that the First Lady should be doing. She probably also would be involved. Biden's youth ambassadors. Coffin, big change, hand in hand. Coffin is secret, not disclosed to all the people. Big change that is not disclosed to all the people. 10, 3 diamonds. 3 diamonds does look like they are in talks with the Biden presidency. And a lot of people say, oh, there is no Biden presidency, but we'll just have to see. It seems like there is. So let's see. On the bottom, strength, Trinity, cornucopia, scapegoat, and executioner. This says, no, it's not going to happen. This says all material things, strength and Trinity working together in the environment on all kinds of things. I think this is on the table, but I think ultimately, no, they're not going to be youth ambassadors for Biden. Okay, so I've not seen any articles on it. I think they are talking to the Biden White House, but I think that this particular thing is not really going to happen. I think this is not really going to happen. Okay, there's a lot of rallying for censoring any kind of dissenting voices, just like we're, the Chinese Communist Party, which is what they do. Russia did a lot of this. They don't do that anymore, thank God. So are Meghan and Harry for censorship? Because the United States is built on free speech. Okay, that's what it's built upon. It's built on the free exchange of ideas and free speech. And this time in our history, like no other time previously, is a time of tremendous censorship, because the large social media companies, including YouTube, which is owned by Google, have been allowed to obtain monopolies, which was also prohibited. And I worked for government, and I worked with these anti-monopoly people. So this is a really strange time in history where monopolies have been allowed to develop. And so terrible, terrible censorship. Even the former president, Donald Trump, the former president of the United States, is censored by the big tech. He was removed from all the platforms, Twitter and Facebook and everything, so that he can't speak to the people. Wow. Are Harry and Meghan for actively censoring all dissenting voices? And those dissenting voices will, of course, be conservative or not democratic, because the people running everything are really communists, but they call themselves Democrats. Are they for this? Cross, inheritance, cornerstone. Very, very solid. 11 and 10, 21, 6 hearts. Very solid. These are the 3 most solid cards. This is their camp. They are in this camp on the side of this administration. What's underneath? Star of Bethlehem, Fox, and very cleverly making their way in the world. 12 and 12, 24, 6 spades. This is a selfish strategy. They've just simply aligned themselves with the winners. Okay, and in earlier times, if you aligned yourself with the loser, you are hunted down and get your head cut off. So they seem to understand that aligning themselves with the Biden presidency is just really going to help their career. Aligning themselves with Kamala, pandering to Kamala. Kamala, come on our podcast. We've done 1 podcast, so we're awesome. You can trust us. We're going to be bigger than Joe Rogan because we've done 1 podcast. And for that matter, when are they going to do another podcast? Are they only going to do a podcast when they feel like it? when they feel inspired, or are they going to do 3 a week? Are they going to do 1 every 2 weeks? Are they going to do, how often are they going to produce these podcasts? And why would Spotify be paying them if they never produce a podcast? I mean, that's an unsustainable thing. So they are just completely aligned with whatever the party in power is saying right now, and that's just pure self-interest. So I don't know if they believe this. It's not clear that they are for or against free speech or censorship. It's just that they're aligning themselves with the party in power, which means if they're aligning themselves with the party in power, they're for censorship, because that is what's happening right now. All right, what do we have here? Let's review. Is Kamala Harris going to come on their podcast? It doesn't look like it. I really think they're just pandering. I think they're just putting it out there and creating pressure by having everyone in the world say, hey, Kamala, are you going to go on Harry and Meghan's podcast? I think the official word is going to come down, no. At the end of the day, I think, no, she's not going to come on the podcast. But it puts Meghan and Harry in the news. All news is good news. They get their name out there and they get buzz going, even though it doesn't happen. And that creates buzz. Okay. Do Meghan and Harry, individually and corporately, do they want to get all involved in this political morass? Harry absolutely doesn't. He sees that it's a terrible idea for him, and it is a terrible idea, and he will end up losing his title as prince. Meghan is she's just working everything, working every opportunity in her environment. There is up here underlying, it does say, this does suggest that Meghan is actually trying to destroy Harry. She's kind of systematically trying to destroy him, and by him losing, she wins. And that's what a malignant narcissist would do. So that does look like what's going on under the surface, because it's just too weird that everything that is done there is bad for Harry and good for Meghan. It's all good for Meghan. It's all terrible for Harry. Are they going to be Biden's youth ambassadors? They are working with the Biden people, very much so. But I think at the end of the day, that's not going to be the selection for them. It's going to be something else. And I don't think Harry can be appointed to any kind of office, because then that would be partisan. He can't be appointed in any official role by Biden, because that would be specifically political. And I don't think Meghan can be specifically appointed, because they're married, and that makes Harry political. So it's such a sticky wicket. Are they actively for censorship, because this is a great time of censorship because of the social media monopolies, which need to be broken up, and it's a very simple thing to do. We had anti-monopoly laws for most of our history. They were, during my time in government, those anti-monopoly laws were stripped away. During my time in government, I think it was around 1994, the anti-monopoly laws were removed. So this has only been going on since 1994, where these huge companies could create mega monopolies, which is what they've done. All you got to do is reinitiate anti-monopoly laws and break up those monopolies. And they should start in Europe, because I'm not sure that Europe has done the same stupid things that America did. And so they just need to start attacking them, attack the huge tech companies in Europe, and then it'll spread to Canada, Australia, and finally the US. We're behind the curve on this, which is not uncommon. Okay, so they are just completely aligned with the ruling party, and it's completely self-interest, and whatever they say goes. If they want to censor everybody and discriminate, then they'll censor and discriminate and violate the Constitution. And they're just not concerned. They're just aligning themselves with the Biden camp at this point. And maybe if someone else comes into power, which should not happen for 4 years in a stable democracy, but if someone else were to come into power, they might completely align themselves with them and completely flip all of their loyalties. So that's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. Many thanks to the generous folks who bought me a cup of tea. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment.